Hey, folks, I'm Big Sam, and I've done it the wrong way for a long, long time. Welcome back to the Big Sam Podcast. This is episode 4 of a four-part series on grief. And kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. When back to first of the year, when I was writing out the plan, a lesson plan or a script plan or whatever you want to call it, to get to what we were going to do our podcast on, it just kept coming up to me over and over and over through the month of June. I want to do a four-part series on grief. If you know my story and if you've been watching the podcast or know me personally, you know grief hit really hard for me. 18 years ago, June 18 years ago, my wife and I lost our 13-year-old daughter in a car accident. And I dealt with grief, and there's been lots of other things, and over the last 3 weeks we've talked about different forms of grief, and I've probably hit on all of them through job changes and relationship loss, et cetera, et cetera. So grief is personal to me. Fortunately, over the years, I found ways to cope with it, ways to deal with it. Over the last year, I've gotten some professional help, and believe me, I encourage you to do the same. My wife has as well. Uh, so we've been able to move on, and that's why I want to share this with you. So, and that's why we're doing this series. That's why we've done this series. So, over the last few weeks, we've talked about grief. We've talked about losing people. We've talked about dreams have died. We've talked about forgiveness and the weight people carry for years. And today, we're going to finish this series up with what many people needed to hear. You can move on, but moving forward doesn't mean letting go. For some people, for some reason, people think healing means forgetting, and we're talking more about a person that you've lost in this instance, but it can apply to all the above. Uh, if you smile again, laugh again, find joy again, somehow you've left your loved one behind. Yeah, nothing could be further from the truth. Today we're talking about how to move forward while still honoring what you've lost. Grief is not about forgetting. It's about learning how to carry love differently, how to how to carry the love for somebody who's no longer here. And it is a different world. It's a different process, different way to do it. Again, I'm not doing this because I've got a ton of education on this. I'm doing this because I've lived it. One of the biggest lies grief tells us is this: if I move on, I'm betraying them. People feel guilty for being happy, guilty for taking a vacation, guilty for laughing at a joke, guilty for enjoying life, guilty for moving on to a new relationship, whether it be after a divorce or after loss of a spouse. Uh, I've seen people that genuinely feel guilty because they've moved on to a new relationship, uh, or they're afraid to move on to a new relationship because they'll feel guilty for the one that passed on. Uh, I've seen people stuck for years because they think suffering is proof of love. People we love, the people we love, wouldn't want that. I can assure you, in the years that I was stuck grieving the loss of my daughter, she would have been pretty disappointed. She would have been pretty upset that we weren't moving on to do things. I remember our first vacation we took without Hannah, feeling guilty about it. She would not have wanted that. Um, I see people who, even young, lose a spouse and go, "Well, I'm never gonna get involved in another relationship because I don't want to betray that original relationship." They wouldn't want that. Uh, the husband you lost, the wife you lost, the parent you missed, the child you grieve, most of them would want you to keep living, keep loving, keep growing, keep making memories. The goal isn't to stop loving them. The goal is to keep living the life you've been given. Um, Amy and I were talking about this one day, and I asked her, I said, if something happened to me, would you move on? Would you marry again? She said, "Yeah, probably." I said, "Well, would you let them live here in our house?" And she said, "Well, it's a nice house, paid for. Why not?" It's not paid for yet, but it's close. Would you let them drive my truck? Well, it's a good truck, doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Sure, why not? And by this point, I'm getting a little bit mad. I said, "Well, would you let him use my golf clubs?" And she said, "No, he's right-handed." So, funny. Don't care who you are. So the goal is to keep living the life you've been giving. Many people don't. Many people expect grief to disappear. Usually doesn't. It just changes. In the beginning, grief feels like a tidal wave. Everything reminds you of the loss. Man, I've lived that. Every song still does. Every holiday, every empty chair, every routine. Then over time, the waves get further apart. I remember simple driving down the road and wouldn't have even thought this. But at the same time, the Tim McGraw song, Don't Take the Girl, came on. A truck drove past me and it had a life flight helicopter sticker in the back window, and our daughter was life flighted. And I'm gonna tell you, Big Sam lost it. It almost had to pull over, but that's okay. That's therapeutic. Sometimes that's okay. Uh, the waves get further apart, but they still come. 18 years out, I'll hear a song on the radio or some little something reminds me of Hannah. A birthday, an anniversary, a familiar smell, a favorite song on the radio. And there's some good ones. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Suddenly you're right back in that moment. Whether you're at the moment you lost them or the moment that you had with them, you'll be right there with them. And it's okay. That's normal. Doesn't mean you're going backwards. It means you love deeply. The scars remain because the love remains. One of the healthiest things we can do is to stop trying to leave people behind. Instead, learn to carry them with you. Tell stories about them, and I do that a lot. Tell stories about Hannah when I'm twisting balloons. Tell stories about my dad. Maybe it's cooking their favorite meal or eating at their favorite restaurant. I can tell you, October 20th every year, you can find my wife and I at a McDonald's. I'm eating a double cheeseburger or two. That was her favorite thing. She loved cheeseburgers, loved McDonald's. Yeah, a lot of times Jacksonville, Alabama, because that's where we are. Or if I'm on the road, we'll find a McDonald's. Living out the values they taught you. Things I do, because it's what my dad taught me to do. My wife will ask me, why are you working so much? Because my dad taught me to work. Simply speaking their name. The people we love continue to shape us long after they're gone, not because they're physically here, but because they help make us who we are. Again, on both ends. Their fingerprints remain on our lives. Moving forward isn't one giant step. It isn't one day you're going to wake up and go, all right, I'm moving on. No, you can move on a little bit. You're going to move the needle. It's 1,000 tiny ones. Every day I'm going to get up, I'm going to take a step forward. I'm going to move the needle, get out of bed, go back to work, attend church again. Maybe you don't want to go to church because that's where y'all went to church. Maybe you don't want to sit in church by yourself. Get up, do it anyway. Call in a friend. If it was a mutual friend, their friend, whatever. Take a walk. Laugh at something funny. Make plans for the next month. Take a trip. Take a cruise. Take a drive. Those small steps don't seem important at the time, but they are, a little bit at a time. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens an ordinary day at a time, one choice at a time, one step at a time. Many people have another fear. Well, what if I forget? What if I forget their voice, their laugh, their smile, the way they looked at me? You may forget the details, but you won't forget what they meant to you. And even something on a practical level, if you've got a voice recording, you can save those. A voice message in your phone. For us, and I had to do some finagling to do this, but Hannah recorded my wife Amy's voicemail greeting. And when we switched from analog phones or, an old flip phone to a smartphone, I had to record that and then record it onto her new phone. So I can still, if I call Amy and she doesn't answer, I get to hear Hannah's voice. It's kind of cool. And I've got that recorded in another way and I can play it. I've got a voicemail of my dad's I play every now and then. So you might forget the details, but you're not going to forget what they meant to you. You won't forget how they changed your life. Oh, man. You won't forget the lessons. You won't forget the love. And honestly, sometimes memories fade because they're part of who you are. In other words, that memory is locked into your life, not just in your head. You stop remembering every specific lesson because you're living it. And I said it. I did my dad's eulogy, and I said it then, and I'll say it now. That and I told all the my siblings and the grandkids, the adult grandkids, you would pick the phone up, call Dad, and go, hey, Dad, hey, Papa, what would I do here? You can't do that anymore. But the reality is, you don't have to, because I will ask myself, what would Speedy do? What would the old man do? And then do it. I'm sitting in this studio right now that I got to build because of things I watched my dad do. It's not great because apparently I forgot some of those lessons, but we were able to put up 4 walls and a roof after things that I've watched my dad do. And that was kind of cool. It's still cool. Yeah. Now it'd be funny if I go, hey, Dad, I built this building and we're doing a podcast. Well, what's podcast? So if you're listening today and you're carrying grief, I'm going to challenge you something. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to laugh. Give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to enjoy life again. Give yourself permission to make future plans. Permission to move forward, not because the loss didn't matter, but because it did. The people we love help write our stories. And I'm going to tell you, stop right here in the middle of this, something I didn't put in my notes. You need to help move forward. You need to move forward not because of the one that you lost, but because of the one you survived. And this is one of the things that we did not necessarily the right way. Early on in the first few years, we grieved so hard over Hannah, and I can speak for me, and I can speak a little bit for my wife, Amy, that our younger daughter, lost out on some things. Don't do that. Don't grieve the loss of one person. Don't harm unintentionally the others in your life because of the grief of another person. You've still got people that are around you, people that you need to interact with, people that you need to help with, people that depend on you. So don't grieve the person you've lost so hard that you also lose the other people in your life. Again, I've done it the wrong way for a long, long time. So the people we love help write our story. They were never meant to become the end of the story. There's still chapters left. There's still people to help, still memories to make, still purposes to fulfill, still lives to touch. As a Christian, I find comfort. Grief's not the final chapter. Revelation 21:4, he'll wipe every tear from their eyes. There'll be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. That's a promise. God wrote it. That's a promise. Not that life will be easy, not that grief won't hurt, but one day God will make all things new. For believers, grief's not the end of the story. Goodbye is not forever. It's simply, I'll see you later. Like, oh, cowboy, we don't say goodbye. We'll see you later. And literally, life's like a fleeting vapor. And I've got a translation for that I probably can't say here. It's break wind in the wind. You get it. Life's a fleeting vapor. It'll just be a second. We'll be on to the next one. How cool is that? We'll see them again. Rick and Sherry Burgess, our loved one is more of a part of our future than they are of our past. So if you've listened to this entire series, thank you. If you listen to this podcast, thank you. The fact that people tune in to listen to what I've got to say is humbling. It's pretty cool for me. It's my prayers. These conversations have helped you. These conversations will help you if you feel stuck. They'll help somebody who's broken, somebody that's alone. Remember this, you don't have to let go to move forward. You can carry the memories, carry the lessons, carry the love, and still keep walking. Carry the good things, not the bad. Healing isn't forgetting. Healing is learning to live again. I hope this has helped you as much as it's helped me. Listen, I get in here and record these because it's therapeutic for me. No matter what I'm recording, no matter what I'm putting down in these podcasts, it's directed at me first. I filter my plans. I filter my scripts off of what I need to hear. And I know God gives me these scripts because what he needs me to hear myself first. And then I'm sharing it with y'all. Uh, I've said this before. Sometimes I'm sharing today what I learned yesterday. So, and I hope this helped you again. Hope that this helped you as much as it's helped me. Uh, if it helped you, like it, go to our YouTube channel, share it, uh, share it on Facebook with your friends, comment on it, etc. Y'all know what to do. Uh, and tune back in next time, and we'll have something else for you. I hope you've enjoyed this series on grief. I hope it's helped you move your needle. So y'all keep doing that. We'll see you next time. Thanks.